Yo, 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 yo. Geek protagonist. While I'm warming the car up. Just wanted to say my thoughts on a couple of things. Dealing with Sony is my driving thoughts. These aren't my fancy voiceovers. You know, I'll do these from time to time when I'm thinking about something. So, I saw yesterday they were talking about Madam Webb and how now it takes place in 2003, but they were going to make reference to something in the 90s or whatever. And this is more just talking about Sony as a whole. So, I enjoy a lot of the Sony movies. Probably, I would say, outside of the animated stuff that they do, my favorite two Spider-Man movies, I'm one of the people who really liked Amazing Spider-Man. I didn't even hate on Amazing Spider-Man 2. I thought it was a little muddled, but I actually liked that movie a lot. I thought it was a pretty good movie for myself. I know it had its problems, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the original Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2 was like alright to me. Spider-Man 3 was there's things that I was like that's like the one I probably like the least. But outside of that, we've been having some stuff. I really enjoy the Venom movies, but I'm noticing Sony might be running into a problem. I think they're trying to do too much and not do too much in the wrong direction and not do enough in the right direction. So, you know, Craven looks actually pretty interesting to me. I think Craven looks good. I actually kind of like the concept. It looks like it's taking a serious tone, things like that. Morbius, I will say this. First off, I really liked his look. And I didn't hate Morbius. I thought Morbius in some aspects did get a little ridiculous, don't get me wrong. But I could go back and sit down and watch Morbius and have a good time with it. It's one of those movies that I'm like, yeah, it has its problems, but I have a good time. Like, Goofy, like the one chick when she bit his, well, spoilers if you didn't see it. She bit his lip in Vampire and it was like weird how they were doing the vampire thing. But I actually thought some of the movie was cool. I feel like they over-edited that movie. I feel like that was my big issue with that movie. There was more story to tell and I feel like they chopped it up too much to try to keep it under a certain time frame instead of telling the whole story. And it shows. But seeing that they're doing Madam Webb, and I'm one of the people, I don't really have an issue with it. Like, people are like, oh, this looks like the CW. I'm like, can we stop that dumb stuff? Because the CW had its budget, and some of the costumes on CW actually looked cool. Some, not as much. I actually thought Supergirl's costume looked great. I thought some of Flash's costumes looked cool. I hated any that was missing his chin strap. And I actually thought the Green Arrow's costumes were, like, straight up on point. And I also thought Red Hood and Speedy's costume looked good. So, there are characters in there, Superman's costume. So, that whole, the CW, I'm like, no, because Black Lightning's costume didn't look terrible either. And I've seen bigger budget things, She-Hulk, and things like that didn't look as, we'll say, appetizing on some of the looks and stuff. Anyway, what my big thing is that now they're putting this in its own universe. When I heard that they were going to make this a part of the Amazing Universe, and then they got the Venomverse stuff, and I'm like, this is what I mean by they're doing too much. I'm like, Sony, you need to do one universe. You need to, and do what fans want. Fans seem to want a Spider-Man 4, and fans want a Spider-Man 3. I want a Spider-Man 3 to show where he's at after this whole situation. I think that would be really cool. But the fact that now Madam Webb is separate, and then they have them, and she's younger, and then the other reason, like I said before, 2 out of the 3 castings were 2 people I actually was my picks for casting. So that's interesting. I actually thought Helen Mirren would have made a great Madam Webb. My personal thing for the older lady. You know, if you see the look. If you look at Madam Webb. That's just me. But that's because I like Helen Mirren, too. But I think she would have pulled that off. With that regalness. But it's weird because it's like, okay, people kind of want more joint universes still. Even though Marvel is slacking off the last several years with Disney as a whole, the universe thing was kind of working. If you're going to do a Venomverse, and make Venom the main character, it's kind of interesting. Because in the next Venom, they could totally give him the spider because he could have seen the thing with Spider-Man and be like, oh, that's a cool idea. And when, you know, he did the thing and get a spider. However, I think it would be cooler if they would have taken... So, it's like, where are we with Sony, right? Okay, so we know Tom Holland's Spider-Man's in the MCU. He's doing his own storyline now. No problem. Morbius and take place in another universe. So... then it's like, okay, so which Spider-Man is that? Is that Tobey Spider-Man? Is that Andrew Spider-Man? I think it should be Andrew's. Because Tobey got his 3. It would be cool to see Andrew dealing with this, and that would be kind of the Sinister Six movie, I think, should be an Andrew movie. And then you would get kind of a combination of that Sinister Six movie they've always wanted, and that Spider-Man movie that they're amazing, kind of put it together. So you led with that from the previous movie, kind of have him in a different place, doing stuff, and that would be cool. But it's like, okay, so you got the Venomverse. Where does Kraven take place? Does Kraven take place in his own universe? Does Kraven take place in the Venomverse? Morbius and Vulture, do they take place in the Venomverse? But they're talking about going after Spider-Man, and they're blaming their problems on Spider-Man, which is weird, because at the end of that, I'm like, Morbius, why do you have beef with Spider-Man? So it's like, okay, and then Madam Web takes place in her own universe with Ezekiel and stuff, and hit that version of Spider-Man, or there, and I'm like, this feels like it's starting to become a muddled mess. So it's one of those things where it's like, I think Sony needs to kind of clean it up. I don't mind them, even if they ran 3 things, even if they had Miles as one, like let's say, you know, the Miles Morales one, the Venomverse, and Spider-Man. Even though personally I feel like the Venomverse and Amazing Spider-Man can join into one universe. But let's say they do that. So let's say the Amazing Verse and the Venomverse with Kraven and Morbius and all of them become one universe. I actually think that would be a good idea to do a live action, still kind of continue with their own Spider-Man. I don't really need to see another Spider-Man recasted, another Peter Parker right now. And then, okay, if the Madam Web thing gets over well, it's probably not. Maybe do something with that too and make that his 3rd universe. And I guess that's their Girl Boss universe. If they get teams in focus, like how they have the one Spider-Man thing, and then they do the other, and then they do the other, I think, and really focus on those 3 universes and kind of build them out, I think that could work, but they got to really put some forethought into it, get the good writers, get everything. However, I really feel the Venomverse and the Amazing Verse should become one universe, along with Madam Web, and just have the 2 universes. Miles is one, and that one. I think it put less stock in the movie by making it its own thing back in 2003 and stuff like that. I get it, because then they can maybe jump in there. And with Madam Web, it can be a thing with the multiverse, since they're constantly dealing with multiverse. So I see how it could work, where everything grabbing, if they did it right, like kind of the Spider-Man cartoon and the old Spider-Man Spider-Verse thing. However, I just feel like it would be smarter just to only maybe have 2 universes. The cartoon one and that one. If you're going to have 3, really do it out. But I'd like to hear what you guys think. This is just me randomly sputtering off. I think it's getting messy, especially after hearing about Venom 2. The bug is the reason why it actually looked good, because they didn't have the CG polished, which I'm like, studios, stop rushing these movies out. You don't need to come out with 2, 3, 4, 5 movies in a year. Especially with the CG I've been seeing, when the fact that people are taking CG from like 2000 and 97 and stuff, and it's looking better than the current CG. You can do 2 projects a year and have them actually do it, or take a couple years to make sure it looks great, because looking good makes a difference for people. It brings them in more into the world. But I would like to hear what you guys think. I bet a ton of you are probably like, Madam Web. Like I said, it could be that Girl Boss thing. And I'm like, I was more excited when I thought maybe it'd take place in the Venomverse, and I heard about Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man in there. I'm like, ooh, like he's the older Spider-Man, there's new Spider people coming. That would have been cool to expand on, but the fact that they kind of dropped that to me is like, I don't know if I'm feeling it as much now. I'll definitely check it. I'll probably definitely check it out. I mean, I haven't even watched Aquaman 2 yet. I just haven't been as inspired to go to the movies. I have other stuff going on, and just, I'm tired of being disappointed when I can just wait and watch it at home and maybe review it later. But, you know, I might give it a go, because I don't hate the Sony movies, and I like more of their movies with Venom, Venom 2, the Spider-Verse movies, which to me are the best Spider-Man movies, and I like their Marvel movies, and I, liked enough of them that I'll at least give them the benefit of the doubt. But like I said, tell me what you think. Geek Protagonist, you stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real. It's just a random driving thought thing while I was warming up the car. See ya.